Live. Haven't done a late night one on YouTube in a minute, but today it was definitely worth a couple of videos. So one, I have to say that it's been a long day. We started before the sun was up, and we ended after the sun was up. And Jamie is still up. I'm trying to get live chat on so I can see that. Um, I cut short my YouTube review earlier today, so I figured I could end it up now because I've done a few different videos on Facebook, but I would end on YouTube. And I'm sitting here by my fireplace, but yet this isn't really a fireside chat because it's too freaking hot to start a fire. So you're just gonna have to look at my ugly mug. I do have a show playing in front of me with quietly, no audio. It's one of my buddy's shows that has that won this Badlands mountain lion challenge. So anyway, oh, there's the first mountain lion. Boom. Let me see. You want to see that? Check that out. Let's watch this. See, now I'm gonna be distracted, but anyway, it's a sweet little mountain lion. He trapped that baby perfect. Anyway, so that's what. Okay, so that's where my attention is, but I'm gonna try to keep my attention on you. Um, Today was crazy. In a sense, not so much that we found out more information, not so much that some bombshells were dropped, but because it's kind of what didn't happen that scares me. They didn't fight the alternative suspect narrative. They didn't say, why do we have to have something by September 16th to you? Well, because the reason we don't have to worry about it is because we already have that story. I have a feeling that the defense attorney knows more about this case than anyone else except for Patrick and KK. I have a feeling that Patrick, this is why. Let me tell you why I think the defense attorney is privy to some information that none of us have. Because of how Patrick interacted with Mary Longmire. If Patrick was willing to talk with Mary Longmire and talk about these different things that came out today, some of which are lies that he talks about, but if he was willing to do that with Mary Longmire, you have to believe he's willing to speak with his attorney. And so if the attorney is in fact building a case around an alternative narrative, alternative suspect, if in fact he is going to build this case around that alternative suspect, then he's going to have to give this information out. He's going to have to give this information out by September 16th, according to what was given out today, according to what they talked about today. Now, I think there's going to be some things pushed out. Guys, I got to crash. You should go. Later, good night. See ya. It's been a long day for everyone. Um, if the defense attorney gets information that he can not bet on, but if he got something from Patrick that is key, that is vital, that is, wait until we drop this bombshell on him, right? If he got that, we're gonna find out, or at least the defense is gonna find out that information. They're probably not gonna release that information to the public come September whatever, September 15th. We're not going to get that information publicly, but the state will get that information. If in fact that's true, maybe we'll see some movement. Maybe the state will then say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we got, whoa, if they drop that out in court, whoa, slow down, cowboy. You're telling me that's what he said?" So if they drop one of those, if Patrick drops a bomb like, "Oh yeah? You think I did it? You think I did it? Why don't you ask her about this, this, and this?" Because we will. And if that happens, if he outs Crystal before trial, Crystal's butt just puckered up right there. Crystal's watching this video, whether she's watching it now or whether she's watching it tomorrow. Her butt just puckered a little bit. If Patrick Frazee outs Crystal Lee Kinney to the defense attorney, and the defense attorney says that's our bombshell, that right there, my friend, is your walking papers. If he tells her, if that happens, then old bombshell drop goes to Dan May, and Dan May goes, "What? That's what? Get that girl on the phone." And Dan May makes sure he gets a hold of Miss 4th of July parade girl, and says, "Hey, your boy just said this. If this turns out to be true, honey, you better get your butt back down here to Colorado, or you better head to Mexico." And if that happens, then this is where it gets real crazy, because I feel like all the hoopla, all through all the social media hype, take down all the things that we do and don't know about this case. We think we know. Like, even I think I know. I say, "Oh yeah, I don't think it happened at the apartment." Well, it very well could have. That's what everyone else is pointing to. That's what KK's pointing to. I guess that's what the evidence they have points to, but I don't know. They took a lot of stuff out of there. Maybe they got some really great evidence. We haven't really been hearing about that really great evidence. We did hear that all the CBI testing is done, and there is a little bit of consumptive testing that still has to be done because CBI was incapable of doing this type of testing. And so what's interesting is all this testing that's being done that may or may not turn up results, and results are going to be, they're going to have to be like definite results. Like if they're testing blood or they're testing DNA, the DNA is going to have to point, it's not only going to have to point to Patrick in a defaming manner. It's going to have to point to him definite that this blood or this DNA or this was collected because of not some random, because Patrick has a really great, Patrick was in the house the day before, the day after, the 4 days before, 10 days before. He'd been in and out of that house 100 times. And so they're not going to just be able to say, oh, your DNA was found here, or your DNA, whatever, your DNA mixed with some blood. It's going to have to be enough blood that there was a death that occurred, or somebody. They're going to have more than just real small consumptive amounts. And the testimony of KK is going to play key to the timeline story that the police are going to try to lay out. But for the sake of for time, for the sake of the defense being able to do their job correctly, at some point before the trial, the defense is going to have to sit down with KK. Her attorney will probably be present. The state will probably be present. But the defense is going to have to sit down and ask her some very specific questions to get some context into how she is going to respond. They're going to have, what they would say, depose her. Now, if they decide to do a disposition on video, right, and then show that video to the juror so that KK wouldn't actually have to be in court, that's one way that could possibly be done to protect the witness. I'm going to tell you something that's going to play a real major factor in this trial, and it's ridiculous. This man is on trial for his life. Not for the death penalty, but for his life. Patrick, if you got somebody spying and watching Dad, I know you're not watching Dad with the phone inside Teller County, but there are people that are talking with Patrick that watch Dad with the phone. I'm 100% of that. I interviewed a woman who her husband has talked to Patrick since he's been in jail, right? So has had phone conversations, okay? You can hear that interview. So Patrick's going to get this. Hey, take advice from Dad with the phone and change the venue, not based on the jury, but based on you can't go 10 minutes in there without a car driving by and them having to stop court so that you can hear what's happening. There is no air conditioning in the Teller County Courthouse. The second floor, you could probably roast eggs up there a couple of days a year when it gets blazing hot. It is going to get blazing hot during trial. The jury is going to be sweating. The jury is going to be having difficulties hearing testimonies. The jury is going to, because I know this for a 100% fact, because I have sat in that courtroom and I've heard testimony from the testimony stand and I've heard different things. The jury's going to have a hard time hearing shit. And anytime a jury has a hard time hearing shit, they're more likely just to say, he's guilty. You want them to be able to, hear every crisp word, every, a courtroom should have the acoustics of a recording studio. We're talking about people's lives on the line, and everything has to go on the record, and the jury has to be able to hear clearly, and the arguments have to be able to be argued uninterrupted. And ladies and gentlemen, mark my freaking words. This trial should be moved on the grounds that the courthouse itself is unfit for a man to get a fair trial in. Today, The acoustics were so bad in there. The witness had to stop. The attorneys had to stop talking at one point and this is what's not being reported. But Dan May said it out loud today. Dan May said it in the damn it's time, Teller County, for you to get those casinos to pony up some money and build us a new courthouse before Patrick Frazee goes to trial. I'm not saying before Patrick Frazee goes to trial, but get out of here. Who's that? Cheryl T. Get out of here. I'm going all night. We're 15 minutes in. I'm only going for another 45. You're not going to miss much. What's up, Soul for Music 79? Whoever that is. What else? We got Hannah Bay. Where's KK living now? Small town Idaho. Every little detail. I believe my emoji enthusiasm. Frederick the Great. D-Wop knows what he's talking about. Believe. I'm celebrating Swamp on Undertune tonight. Emoji narrative. What are you trying to say? I have zero idea. It's 11:30. I've been up since 4. Oh, Frederick went on some emoji count. Fact checking. You better get after fact checking. Here, kitty. Okay, I'm good. Not too many. Oh. Yeah, they're going to need to fix that courthouse before they have trial. Talk to Dad with the phone. I got the sound system sitting. I know where the sound system is sitting to put in that room so that everybody in the room can hear and the jury can hear. The recording will be crystal clear for the record's sake. Why don't you take me off the witness list and put me on the vendor list? Bring me in as a contractor to take care of the AV needs. You got a lot of video. Listen, you got a lot of video. I'll tell you what. I'll do it as a community service to the Cripple Creek Courthouse. If somebody from the court system, Dan May, if you don't want to move this, if you don't want this thing to move, then let's make a proper courthouse. You said it today. Now, you can't go put AC in there. You just can't do it. You're not, I mean, maybe y'all can get an AC dropped in that courthouse and we can shut the windows. So get an AC dropped in. That's going to cost you 50 G's, 100 G's. Probably cost you 100 G's to get an AC dropped in that courthouse. Or listen, we're in global warming, buddy. Get with the times. Cripple Creek may be in the mountains, but it's going to get hot, Dan May. So we either get a new AC, call the HVAC guy, or leave the windows up. Don't screw with the nostalgia. Let's make it hot. Let's make the jury hot and sweaty. But let's get some proper AV in there so that everybody can hear what the hell's being said. Because I noticed this today. When you have to, when a lawyer has to interrupt their argument, their kids might as well have run in. They're going to lose their train of thought. They're going to... when is the trial slated to start? It's slated to start in October, honey, but sit back, chill out, make you a cappuccino. We're going into 2020. Do you believe me? If you don't believe me, here's what you do. You message me and you say, I'm guaranteeing this trial's happening this year, and I'll lay money down. We'll start odds in Vegas, baby, because I'm telling you this trial's going into 2020. It is very important, D-Wop. Jury's gonna be stressed and hot. I know they probably got to. So here's the deal: they're gonna have to probably either move it because of ends. This ain't about can we get a jury. This doesn't. This should be taken into account on the fact that Dan May said it today. It's hard to hear in there. It's hot in there. We have to put the windows up. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's put it this way then. Cripple Creek, I want you to hear this. We either got to put an AC in that courthouse or Hire Dad. Don't go out and hire some big ass company. They will screw you for a lot of money and they won't do a good job. You call me up, I'll send you my resume. We'll get you a good AV system put in that court. It can be temporary for the trial. We'll get it temporary in there. We'll call it a donation, community service or something. We'll fix up the AV in the room. We'll make sure you got 4K projector in there to show this video footage. The jury needs to be able to hear these testimonies clearly. The attorneys need to be able to argue this case clearly without interruption when the donkeys come through town. So, you can move the case out of Teller County and let's go to a real courthouse where it sounds like a studio and there's 12 seats. Dad with the phone probably won't be able to go. That's probably one reason you should move it. If you moved it, chances are I'm not showing up at court. But for the sake of giving a man a fair trial, for the sake of a man getting a fair trial, you got to be able to put him in an environment where the jury can hear the testimonies being given. All right, I'm going to get off that soapbox. Everybody knows the Old West Cripple Creek Courthouse should be a museum. Listen, they shut down the Teller County Jail across the street in 1992. I know I spent the night there. If you missed those live videos, you should go check those out. They should turn that courthouse into a museum, shut it down, build a new courthouse, and go from there. Get some of that Bronco Billy money. Wildwood is building a new casino in Cripple Creek. You should tell Wildwood you don't get to build here until you build a new courthouse. Y'all should put a casino tax on the casinos for 1 year. Shit, take that money, build you a courthouse, damn man. Get the courthouse built here. All right, off the soapbox. But that's a real problem that they haven't addressed. It hasn't been addressed. What else? What else is going down? Today, casino had steak and eggs at Bronco Billy's, $5.99, and I got the local discount. Got the local discount. And what else have we got? The motions, people have beat these motions to death. If you don't know what happened with the motions by now, you don't watch enough of me, or you've been watching too much Oprah. So turn Oprah off and go watch some of my live videos giving a recap. The biggest motion that I think of the day, they didn't even rule on. Are you still doing Colorado Crime Con? If you don't know, then you just don't know. You ain't in the know. You ain't in the know if you don't know. Yeah, that's October 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'm pretty pumped about that. But you just don't know. Let's see, where else are we going? That was a good answer for you too. Kim, summertime. When is the next court date? The next court date is actually next week. I think it's next Thursday or next Friday. Somebody could pull that up on the docket, or you could look on Dad with the Phone Facebook page, scroll through the photos. I put the docket up a couple of days ago. I think it's next Friday, but I think it's a custody hearing when it comes around Kaylee. And today felt like a read above. Camo Country Girl. Doo-wop. See my question above, please. Damn, well, just retype your question by the time I get there. Doo-wop. Why does the defendant have to tell who they might point a finger at? Oh, that's the easy one. Because if they point a finger at someone and they give substantial evidence at that someone, the DA may go damn, that's reasonable doubt, you know, and they may have to reevaluate the situation. And so they could, but see, but the DA has to look at a couple of things. The DA is in major pressure, under major pressure of cost, right? How much is this going to cost to try this man? And then what are my odds? So Dan May wants to know, if you're going to drop a bombshell on, if you're sitting on the golden goose, then just give us the golden goose and we'll walk away. That's kind of the idea behind it. It's the same idea that the defense wants to talk with their witness, KK, because they don't know what KK said. They didn't get to interview KK. So basically it is, we don't want to be surprised at trial that you drop a golden goose on us and then we're like shit up creek, you know. And so they want the system is set up not only fair in fairness for the attorneys and for the court system and for the it's really set up for the defendant. And if the defendant can be cleared before court, well then let's clear him before we spend all this money on a trial. That's one reason why they want to know. Another reason would be obviously to prepare an argument against it. Again, it's all about not having these huge surprises like the movies, right? Like sit down with, we're going to get something that we don't normally get, right? We're going to get someone who has firsthand knowledge of a crime. She participated in cleaning up the crime, she says. She gives a very elaborate story of how the crime went down and all that stuff. And so if she recounts this, and at one point they have a bombshell to drop that throws a wrench into her plan, the DA wants to know what that's going to be. It's part of discovery. Neither side can legally introduce anything without letting the other know. Yeah, that's what it's called, discovery. Now, that discovery can happen in the middle of trial, right? All of a sudden somebody says something, a witness says something that leads an investigator down a rabbit hole, and throughout this 3-week trial going on, new discovery can be added, but it has to be added throughout in the proper channel, the proper manner, you can't just drop bombshells on stuff, you know, or you can't just drop these things. And it's more for the fact, this is why they want to do a disposition on KK. Otherwise, the guy has to sit up there and ask her 1,000 questions, where if he were able to sit down with her, have an interview with her, take some notes, and then prepare questions to come and go, okay, this is what I really want to focus on. It just saves time. He can get to the point a lot faster. It's the same thing that I should probably do a prep sheet before I do any live video, because I'll just ramble if I don't. Now, that's never going to happen, but it's the same principle of preparing. They all want to be prepared for court, and so that's why they want this information. And apparently, it's constitutional. It's written into the system. It's already part of the discovery process. But also, there are obviously situations and examples where this isn't met, and so you have to actually file motions to get it done. And so if they didn't file the motion, if they didn't ask, it's kind of like one of those things. If the state doesn't ask, they're not going to get it. So they are going to ask for that list. They're going to ask for, now the witness list and stuff all has to come, is generated and controlled by the state, the people. And so, and the witnesses are controlled by the people. And so this is why the defense was very adamant, hey, listen, we haven't talked to KK. She hasn't been communicative. She hasn't answered our phone calls, returned our phone calls. And that's not being cooperative with the defense. Now, the state, I don't know how much communication has happened between the state and KK since the deal, since her last. She had a check-in hearing that she had to call into. But, you know, whatever. The system is set up to protect now. The system is set up to protect Patrick. It's the bottom line. And everyone is getting to watch it in their own way. How come the Barris don't get full custody? Because Patrick hasn't been convicted. So until he's convicted, the state will stay legal guardian. The Barris, I believe, will stay physical guardian, so that they'll have the state will have legal custody over Kaylee, but the Barris will have physical custody and the rights that go with that. I don't believe they'll give it. I don't believe they'll take away the right from the. I don't think they can take away the right from the father, at least until he's convicted. Again, we live in a society that they're innocent until proven guilty, and this is what frustrates people. This is what's frustrating everybody on this whole case. Even locals, like local people, think this thing has been dealt with. They're like, "Oh yeah, they arrested the guy. Shit, it's over with," right? That's how they feel. That's how most of the world feels. Once they arrest the guy, it's over with. 88% of the time, that's the correct. That's what happens. Did you know that? 88% of the people who are behind bars in the United States went behind bars on a plea deal. So the arrest was made, the plea deal was made, they're behind bars. 88% of the time, that's what happens. There's that 12% of the time cases that actually go through trial. And they get all the way through the trial. When you're talking about 100% of the people behind bars. 88% of them got there on a plea deal. Patrick increased his chances as soon as he said not guilty. Hey, if you want to have a relationship with your children, be good and protect the child's mother. Not today in Tennessee, Sean Foley. Got a hung jury. When I watch trials, it doesn't seem that it's for defendant presumed innocent. Yeah, because the state doesn't want to make it look that way. They make it a lot harder. But in cases like Patrick's case is Miss Mystery. Is that Miss Murder with a new brand? I think that's Miss Murder with a new brand. You'll always be Miss Murder, especially if you call me Shrimp. Then you definitely get Miss Murder. In Patrick's case, the odds are in his favor. May the odds be in your favor. The odds are in his favor at this point, because the fact there's reasonable doubt created by the way that the situation. There's reasonable doubt created by we don't have a body, we don't have a murder weapon, we have a vague story told by someone who says she wasn't there at the time. You know, like. The way the way they came to the story in which we've been given, this story of the candles and like people haven't talked about the actual way the murder happened, because it is so Hollywood, it's hard to believe, you know. And not only is it Hollywood, it's super Hollywood. Like if it happened the way it happened, it was it was it was it was bad. It was a bad thing, and it wasn't a pretty thing. It was a messy thing. And then all of a sudden it gets cleaned up. The mess gets cleaned up. Gets cleaned up so much so that law enforcement agents walk into an apartment where supposedly a woman was beaten to death, and they don't see anything out of the ordinary. It takes the family to show up and see blood. It takes the family to see things and tell law enforcement, what about this? What about this? And so, um, not only was it a bloody, bad situation, the story is told that then it became a very cleaned up situation, a very calculated situation, a very thought out, planned out, strategically now cleaned up to where everything has vanished. Dateline got it right. The vanishing, right? Or that story's full of crap and something else happened. I don't know. I like shake my head today. Like I sit here and I come and I want to make jokes and I want to be funny, not because it's a funny situation, because it is the only way to talk about this situation and not free. This happened down the street. Like I could go out here right now and walk down the street and well, I'd probably take my bicycle, but I could take my bicycle and I could be at Kelsey's house in 15 seconds. Right now at this time, I would take that challenge. No, 15 seconds? I could do 30 seconds. I'll be there. Probably because I'm a little slow. But, and you want to make jokes and talk about it, but it's close. It's close to home. So I know that people around are, and that's why I'm worked up today. That's why it's freaking midnight and I'm still up. It's probably not midnight. 15 till midnight. And I'm still up. I was up at 4:30 this morning over this. And so, and then I went and did a bunch of work. And then I'm still talking about this. We saw bears tonight. That was fun. I love seeing wildlife. It calms and slows my heart rate down when I get myself worked up on this case and worked up on other. There's some other cases that I've talked about that I've slowed down talking about, and I'll tell you why I've slowed down talking about them. It's freaking hard to talk about them. I don't want to talk about Jepsy's case when the cops aren't talking about it, the news quit talking about it, messages from mothers and aunts and uncles all over the freaking world. And I could sit here and talk about that case all night long and about how they let people slip through the cracks every day of the year, and it freaking drains the hell out of you. I want to see a bear. Oh, come to Woodland Park. I'll take you on a bear tour. I can guarantee bear sightings. How about that? If you spend 2 days with me in Woodland Park, 3 days in Woodland Park, I can guarantee a bear sighting. Almost on the clockwork. And I got a network of people right now that have been messaging me anytime they see a bear. So my guarantees are getting better and better and better. Check out the Woodland Park Underground and you can see a bear and 3 little cubbies. We had a mama bear and it was during the daytime, and I followed that bear for 2.5 hours. It was fun. Don't Google chasing bears. I'm gonna tell you what, chasing bears in Woodland Park doesn't mean the same thing as chasing bears in New York City. Just letting you know that right now. Do not Google chasing bears. It will not be a good thing for you. I'm coming over before I start, but I haven't decided when I'm going to Texas without being killed, but other places also. Oh, Mystery, I live. We need to talk. See if I can help. Oh, Miss Mystery got the Texas sheriff pissed off at her. She'll be hang. They'll be like they'll hang an Australian in Texas. They're wild animals. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing. What are you talking about? Bears? I laugh at people when they say bears are wild animals. Your children are more wild animals than the bears. America is not America. I used to know. Oh, you you put too much faith in the dirt. Home is where you hang your hat. Scavengers. I learned everything I know about corruption from DWAP. You think I'm going to Panona County? Wherever. Oh, that's the Texas County. Man, corruption is as easy as your local government or as obvious as your national government. It don't matter who's in the White House, who's in your Senate House, who's your mayor, who's your sheriff, who's your coroner. Corruption is bred in politics. If they're in politics, 90% chance they're corrupt. If they're an elected official, 90% chance they got some corruptness. I'm just spitting out now. It's midnight. For all you haters out there, stick around. I might give y'all some gems. It goes high, D-Wop. Yeah, no, probably. Corruption is a curse and cancerous. Oh. Corruption breeds because good men stay silent. That's your answer. Some people, there's too much people. We've bred this whole system of people who are afraid to argue. They wanna do the typing thing because there is no is anonymity. They don't have to. You notice like the people you guys like the people who talk like you just know they don't put their name. They don't put their name behind it. They don't put a face behind it. They won't do it. See, the problem is nobody has an excuse anymore, right? If you can type it on social media, you can go live and have a conversation with someone. So, oh, they're embarrassed about their looks. Well, then point your camera at a fire, right? But you come out and you have a conversation with people, and that's the problem. Is we just don't we don't even know how to have a conversation. People don't know how to have a conversation anymore. I had a good conversation today with Sam from KOAA. Dude, I like Sam. I'll tell you why I like Sam. One, Sam has wanted to be a newsman longer than he's wanted to do anything else in his life. He knew he wanted to be a newsman at the 6th grade level. No, at age 6. I'm totally lying to you. At age 6, he knew he wanted to be a newsman. So Sam is fun to trade notes with, and I gotta meet up with Sam sometime soon and do breakfast. I like having breakfast with reporters, and Sam's good, and it's fun to talk with Sam right afterwards because we were in the same room. It's fun to read Sam's tweets and then go read my tweets because it just shows polar opposite of who we are. but we're in the same room watching the same thing go down, and we see things totally different. And what did you? What did that? What? I'm people are having conversations and I'm not reading now. I gotta quit reading. Oh, what else happened today with this case? Mary Longmire's testimony is very, very telling about Patrick's lies. And that's what's fun to listen to. Whether or not it gets in court, we know Patrick lied. Um, KOTV. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, but they're all controlled by the same media companies. It's just you just know when one dude has this heart, like when they put their heart into it. It's like anything. Anytime someone's doing what they're passionate about, they're way good at it. Sam's passionate about. He's definitely found himself in the whole court thing, and so I guess there was some famous court reporter there today. I don't know who the hell he is, but all the other journalists seem like they respected him and were like trying to tell him different things. And I was like, who is this dude? I don't really care though. I like to use the media. I'll be honest. I like to mess with them. Half the time they don't know if I'm serious or if I'm joking. I'll say something and they're like, is he serious or is he joking? Oh, you're talking about the the Texas folks, the sheriffs. Uh, well, the media uses the cops just like I talk about having sources inside the departments. It's fun, man. It's real fun. It's fun to see them face to face because you know the ones that don't like you right off the bat. But you can't fake genuine, right? They when you make them laugh or giggle or blush, shit, I can make these lady sheriffs blush. And when you make the lady sheriffs blush, they're done. It's over with. Not in a bad sense or a bad way. It simply is you cannot fake the authenticity of a good blush. And so get them to blush every once in a while, and it's over with. Even if they got a gun. Would it just nothing the difference between Sam? Just noticing the difference. Yeah, no. There is a difference. He's a new jet, but see that's what's cool about this case, and I think I put a picture up. Um, I put a picture up of the young gun journalist. Maybe I did on Twitter. Um, can you name these young guns? And truthfully, like the journalists of today um, are catching on, especially the young journalists. They've already caught on. They don't understand some things, right? Like I look at some things like Sam's on a national network television show, right? National. He's been on. He did the Dateline. He did all of these things, and then you just look at the mediums in which they use. Sam is super big on Twitter and has done a great job of reporting this case, which this case has basically been reported 100% on Twitter, minus the very little few times we had cameras inside. The phone. If had they never allowed phones, check this out. Had they never allowed phones in the courthouse, Dad with the phone doesn't exist. Think about that for a second. Now that doesn't mean I don't have a social media channel. I had the Woodland Park Underground. For years. I've been in the social media game for a minute with old Zuckerberg. So Zuckerberg and I go way back. Me and Zuckerberg go back like 12 years or something like that. It's something stupid. He's like one of my oldest friends. And not for real, but I'm just joking now. But I've been on Facebook. Now I have been to a couple of tech summits with the CMO and the CFO of Facebook. Those guys are pretty smart too. Um, Sam used Twitter, and he does a brilliant job of using Twitter as his personal medium. He's owned by the network, but his personal medium of Twitter, he did a good job. But the young bucks, the Ashley girl today, some of them screw up. How many saw the big screw up today live on Dad with the Phone? Did anybody see the big screw up that all the news reporters made? So we pulled up to the courthouse at about 7 o'clock. And I told this story earlier today. I always park at the same spot. I try to get the same spot at the park. And it gives you a cool shot of the courthouse. But more importantly, it gives you a straight shot to where they actually pull in and drop Patrick off. And so even if you're sitting in the car, if you're watching that alleyway or watching that street, you can get out and get a good shot of Patrick. I had to go to the restroom because I had drank too much coffee. I was unprepared. And to be honest, I was at a point where, like, I don't need another shot of him walking in and out. As one of the things I discussed with one of the other cameramen, and I discussed it with a reporter, was the only reason that shot of Patrick walking from the truck inside the courthouse is important is if Patrick never comes out of that courthouse alive. Like, literally, that's what the news reporter said to me. Well, if somebody kills him, that shot becomes the very last shot of Patrick ever seen. And I'm like, what a ridiculous reason to have to get that shot. Right? Nobody got that shot today, by the way, of Patrick going into the courthouse. There were a bunch of news organizations that were up in the front. They screwed up, weren't paying attention, and the sheriff, mad props to the transport team today. You guys slid in undetected, had Patrick unloaded before any news organization even knew you were on the block. Now, Dad with the Phone, on the other hand, went to the shitter and had his live video pointed right at the right place. So the only video of Patrick walking into the building today was on my live video. And it wasn't because I had the great camera shot. It was because the other news organizations who get paid to get those shots were jacking around. Now, I don't understand this. They gave them vests, but what about headshots? If you want someone dead, you go for the head, right? Oh, nobody's going to kill Patrick. Who's going to kill Patrick? What's the motive to kill Patrick? Because he supposedly killed Kelsey. Now, do I believe Patrick's innocent? I will tell you right now. No. But it's not about innocence and guilt. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you just haven't been watching. He could be as guilty as sin and still walk. Don't believe me. Have you not learned from history? Do you forget the OJ case? Do you forget these cases where these guys are as guilty as sin and walk? The problem with the real deal with the one who had to be killed, is Chris Watts. Yeah, the Watts story is a whole nother kind of evil. That's some weird, sick shit. Like, that dude is sick. I'm not talking. Patrick's not sick. If Patrick was sick, he'd be talking. If this was about the weird Watts, I don't know, man. Like, Watts almost makes me believe in demons. I already believe in demons, but I'm saying Watts ought to make you believe in demons, right? Watts ought to make you believe in demons. KK ought to make you believe in demons. Starbucks poison coffee? That's some demon shit right there. That's some real demon stuff. Like power corruptness, like I was Miss Murder's demons that walk this earth. Yeah, exactly. What do you think? Where you think I'm talking about? I ain't trying to think. They ain't walking up in space. I wouldn't doubt it. What makes me want to stay single? KK was a nurse. Totally against what nurses should be. Oh, that's a whole nother bullshit. Nurses been killing people for a minute, man. They've been making movies about nurses and dirty nurses for a minute. Don't be thinking that nurses... It's like firemen. Every fireman is an arsonist. They all want to play with fire. Right? Nurses. The givers of life, right? Shit, there's a little sadistic in all of them. Half my followers are nurses. That should tell you how crazy they are. I'm not saying half my... It seems like every time I turn around, someone's like, I'm a nurse, I'm a nurse, I'm a nurse. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing sitting around freaking watching Dad with a phone? They're watching because they're intrigued by this murder and death. Something wrong with nurses. I'm just... See, watch. Somebody's going to pop up here in a second and be like, I'm a nurse and they're giving us a bad name. No, they're not giving you a bad name. Nurses have given themselves craziness. Y'all got to be around death all day. There is plenty of shows. That's what I'm saying. It don't surprise me nurses kill. It's like the old joke. If you're a doctor's kid, you do drugs. If you're a cop's kid, you become a criminal. If you're a preacher's kid, you do it all, including your sister. That's a bad joke. But nonetheless, it's late night right now. It's 12 o'clock. That devil do exist. I studied in the scripture. We're all dying from birth. I think my ex could have been Watts. Oh, man. Daily hope. It's not easy to kill someone. It's not easy to burn someone. The human body's not easy to burn. Think about that. You know what I like thinking about? I like thinking about my 5-year-old kid, Ella. Ella's about to turn 5 years old. But she is made up of atoms that are billions of years old. Think about that for a second. Oh, it's bedtime, midnight. We made it. We did an hour, 58 minutes and 49 seconds to be exact. Hey, thank you, YouTube. I don't even know how many people watch this thing. Lucifer is capable of all evil. Uh-oh, we done turned on the religious talk now. I'm gonna have to title this How Patrick Was Demon Possessed. Jamie's on. She'll be getting on to wanting to know. Who am I missing? I just thought about somebody that hasn't been on my live videos lately. I wonder if they got blocked. I looked at Jamie. I was like, who am I missing around here? I wonder. I need to go check my YouTube, make sure my YouTube didn't get hacked. Because I'm missing some key folks. I might have pissed somebody off. We have missed you. Well, I didn't go anywhere. I just, I don't know. YouTube doesn't work very good on my mobile device unless I'm hooked to Wi-Fi. But Facebook works. I'm blocked. No, you're not. I can see you. Jay was around today. Jay was on videos today. She was on live videos today. I'm not tired right now. I'm thinking about going for a bike ride, actually. We've been having a full moon. Go see if I can find one more bear tonight. You're not blocked. You might be, though. See, they all see you. There's 30 people on here, but I only got 15 likes. That means some of y'all are slacking, or I got a lot of haters in the room. I do too. I don't think we're going to. I said out loud. I wish I could be optimistic. I just know how a jury trial works. And I feel like it could be a little bit more difficult than they think to get a conviction. There, have a like, Miss Mystery said. Justice delayed doesn't mean that justice is denied. I think it is going to be harder. Here's the question. What is justice, though? See, because justice is one of those things that is it's like to each his own, right? Is justice Patrick goes to jail for 20 years? Is justice served? Is justice served if Patrick goes to jail but KK doesn't do a day in jail? Is justice served if Patrick goes to jail, KK doesn't do another day in jail, and there were 3 other people involved that we even didn't really get anything from? So what is justice? I think it's individual per case. If a dude steals something, some people would say justice is cut his hand off. If you know, so it is jail. Is a body found? Okay. So justice would be if one Kelsey's body is found. You know what? Here's the deal. That's justice for everyone, but not really justice for anyone. I can't remember who it was. I spoke with one of the Barris close friends. So like someone who had been in contact with the Barrett family. I haven't spoken with anyone at the Barrett family, and don't take that as me one way or the other. I would speak with anyone from the Barrett family, but the Barrett family doesn't need to speak with me, nor do they need to speak with anyone. And but I spoke with somebody who was close to the Barrett family and who had spoken with the Barrett family and who had a message. Who had a message for people, and that was, don't worry about us having closure. We know Kelsey is in a better place, and we know, it was almost like they were, and they're super religious, and there are scriptures that say, let the dead bury the dead, let the, and so, if you are a religious person, or if you believe in the after, whatever is after this, whatever this mess is, after I'm done here, if in fact there is an after, um, if you believe that there is a hereafter, then for all intents and purposes, you have to believe that Kelsey is in a better place for whatever reason. Now, I don't think under any circumstances we find justice unless, I don't know, it'd be a miracle. Justice would be all parties involved suffered death, in my opinion. How about that? It's not real justice, right? That's justice in my eyes. If somebody takes a woman's life in the manner in which it's being told to us, or if someone takes someone's life in any manner, at that point, I'm down for the whole an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, whatever. I'm down with it. Why don't you go ahead and arrange the meeting between them in the afterlife? And so, I do not want to be a bearer of justice, just in case somebody would take that as I'm a pretty peaceful person. I used to be a very vengeful, very, like, I'm more wicked than, and I've told most people this. I tell most people this, and they think I'm being sarcastic. I am more wicked than 90% of the world. But I try to be a peaceful person. But there is this rage inside all of us that wants to feel and see and hear justice be done when we see wrong, when we see things. That's really how the world is balanced. The energy in this room is awesome. The energy in the courtroom today wasn't balanced. That is for sure. And when that unbalance is there, no justice will be had. You got to bring that balance back into order. And the only way that comes out, really the only way justice happens, is when truth comes out. Like, if we could hear the truth, like if there was a truth serum out there that we could give Patrick, there probably is. Hey, CIA, man, hook up Dad with a phone with some of that truth serum. I'll take another case. I'll go back to jail. I'll give Patrick some truth serum. And we can find out the truth. I was pissed today when I heard that the defense couldn't get a hold of KK. KK's not talking to anybody. I got worked up today. I was like, but I got freaking people in Idaho taking pictures of KK, sending me messages. I can arrange the meeting with you and KK. I'm so twisted on how the judicial system worked in this case. It still blows my mind how a woman came to Teller County, helped with the murder, walked free, never spent a day in jail, is walking free, and presumably is not communicating and not cooperating as she was instructed. Makes me mad. Makes me mad. But as I told my wife as I was eating Korean tacos, I was at a murder trial today, and now I'm eating Korean tacos. My life is pretty good. Life is good. But the injustice in life, it is all around us for sure. It is all around us. I've done 70 minutes now. I'm out. Peace. If you like watching Dad with a phone, like, subscribe. If you just want to give me some ass money, people ask me how can we help. You can give money at PayPal, Michael Dalton, the number 2 at Mac.com. If you don't want to give, don't. And keep watching. Hit share, like, and subscribe. And have fun. Stay out of trouble. I'm going to try. Don't promise anything. Miss Murder, don't go to Texas. We'll see you later. Do you have a P.O. box address? Yeah. You want to send me something in the mail? I don't know if I'm down to letter bombs. I just don't know. I just